Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The Ukrainians when I talk about Ukrainians, I talk about the weasels in charge. Some are weasels in charge or in Ukraine, and some are not. Some are patriots coming from the Ukrainian nation. Some, I have a different opinion about that, or assessment. It's a reality, but whatever. They think that they should be helped by everybody else in their fight against the Russians. Well, I expressed my assessment and how I see the NATO fight against the Russians in Ukraine, so I'm not going to come back to that one. The Ukrainians are not, how should I put it here, they are portrayed as victims, and unfortunately the Ukrainian nation and the Russian nation, they are the victims. But not, it's a little bit with nuanced, okay? So the Ukrainians, the leadership, these guys that now are unsuccessful in certain areas, they ask everybody else to come and help them because the Russians just invaded them unprovoked. So what we have here, the grain corridor in the Black Sea. The Ukrainians want everybody else to come. It should provide security for the vessels to get the Ukrainian grain. Okay, the Ukrainian grain, because the Russians said we're gonna inspect vessels coming and picking up grain in Ukraine because we think they bring weapons. The Ukrainians are upset about it, and they think that those vessels should have, I don't know, some entourage or escort by the British Navy or the Americans or whomever. The Russians will shoot at these vessels. That's my personal assessment. Why? They didn't care about that drone, did they? And not only, it was an incident in Black Sea, supposedly, I say supposedly because not the Russians, actually it was the Russians reported, Reuters or Associated Press picked it up, and I made a video based on one of these articles, and a minute ago I made a video on an article coming from the Ukrainians claiming that actually that was fake. The Russians did not stop a Palau vessel who was on its way to pick up grain from Ukraine, and there was no helicopters and there was no inspection and all that. They all lie. I don't know yet who's telling the truth, but based on direct experience and on Russian consistency, that is very much likely it happened. Why? And they will do it. If they didn't do it now, they're going to do it again. So, if these guys are going to provide, as the Ukrainians want, protection from the Western countries for those vessels, I think the Russians will shoot at them. But that's my assessment. Let's see what's going on here. We got Ukraine form. Humenyuk. Corridors in Black Sea should be under international guarantee. No. Why? That's your deal with the Russians. What do you mean should? You have a problem with the Russians. Why should the international community, should intervene? Let's be honest about it. You should not have been in this one. But hey, you have other masters, you are in it. Transport and navigation corridors in the Black Sea should be under international guarantee. Yeah, okay. And I'm quoting, it must be understood that these transport and navigation corridors that exist today should be under international guarantees. Okay, the guarantees of the UN or Turkey as a powerful player of NATO. They tried to drag everybody in for something that was actually ordered by other forces, and Ukraine right now is losing certain things. So no, why don't you ask the Americans? Why don't you ask them directly, hey, Daddy, come now and protect the vessels in the Black Sea. We are in it. Russia is, so why don't you show up? I tell you why. Because the United States, as courageous as it is, or they are, they fight in coalitions all the time. So that tells you a little angle that people say, well, I wonder why. They want legitimacy for their actions. They get about 10 countries, say, hey, that's the world community. 10 countries, 40 countries, that's not the world community. And then the other one is, hey, how about we together here, like a pack of wolves? Because if I would be strong, I would go like a lion. Have you seen lions? I'm not talking about the lionesses. I'm talking about the lions. How they fight, how they go and get their prey. They don't gang as 5 lions. Ooh, let's get the buffalo. He goes alone. Or at least that's what I watched. But the lionesses, they need a pack. Or however it's in English, the word for a pack of lionesses, I don't really care. You know what I mean. So it's a difference. The wolves act in packs. Why? More help. That means you can't do it alone. Why? Well, we don't feel like. Anyway, let's move on here. So Ukraine now says, hey, everybody, you gotta come in to fight these guys. Expose yourselves to a Russian attack, because something that those guys wanted. All right, YouTube cannot talk in words here. So they say the guarantees of the UN or Turkey, our powerful player of NATO, and the Black Sea country were sufficient for a full-fledged grain corridor to function. Yeah, and the Russians will hit them, and then they will hit them, and you got NATO, and you got atomic bombs, and that's it, right? Yes, okay, Hemenyuk, F off. In those conditions, the defense forces of Ukraine were able to ensure the safety of ships that transported grain. Okay, yeah, all right, they were able. Therefore, we continue diplomatic cooperation, continue agreements with partners or bosses, and are ready to provide everything we can. Okay, so she said that. She noted that Russia was trying now to control the coast along Crimea, as well as expose the surface situation with the help of warships. According to her, the support ships may have unmanned aerial vehicles of the reconnaissance type, which can not only scout but also drop ammunition on those objects that they consider important for destruction. Yeah, be afraid. As reported, the Russian military opened warning fire on the dry cargo ship Sukra-Okan, flying the flag of Palau, which was heading to the Ukrainian port of Izmail. I covered that today. Now they say, no, actually they didn't open fire. Actually there was no helicopter coming. And it was not the Russians reporting that, but some napalm info something. Which, or it's a very, all of a sudden it's a very legit site. As I said, if right now Scott Ritter would come and say, which YouTube banned his channel, if he comes and say, yeah, the Russians lied, everybody will give Scott Ritter the legitimacy to talk. So you have legitimacy. If right now I would say, yeah, they lied, the Russians will, not the Russians, the Ukrainians and the Westerners will say, yeah, Emil Cosmos said that, but I'm not famous, so they will not pick me. But I'm just saying, if I would say, we're gonna see a lot of comments down there, yes, Emil is right, Emil knows what, yeah, Emil, yeah. Like I don't know how things are. I don't give a fuck about that. Okay, I give you what I think and what I assess. If they like it, if they don't like it, that's not my goal. Okay, so, and I hope it's not yours. We're trying to find out what the hell happened. I'm telling you, what I don't like about this is Hemenyuk, this is my interpretation, Hemenyuk tries to have everybody else pick the hot potatoes from the fire for them. But put those hot potatoes in the fire? Those guys with your help. And you want everybody now to get their fingers burned. Oh my God, I'm so sad. Some peach wine, very good. Don't buy, if you don't make your own wine, I make my own wine, but not peach wine. I make grape wine, which is the wine. Don't go to the store and buy, whenever you find artificial things, like you look on the bottle, read the labels on the bottle, and if it says artificially flavored with peach something or from concentrate, do not buy that shit. Sometimes you find Muscato peach wine and the bottom with Muscato. No. Because they use the grapes, they put a lot of grapes in, they call it Muscato, put a little bit of essence from the peach, and then you have it, the flavored. I don't want that garbage. I have Coca-Cola for that. I don't drink Coca-Cola. Alright? So anyway, here it is with this. Don't buy artificial shit. Yeah, they put all kind of other things in there, but don't expose yourselves to more. Buy natural. And this is natural. I don't buy anything else. I drink my own wine, but I don't have peach wine at this point yet. I'm in a process. Anyway, so here it is. They want everybody else now to provide security guarantees for those vessels. Because why? Anybody owes them anything? Why don't you talk with the Americans and the Brits? Right? You come and help them. No, they will not do it. Why? Because of the drone that the Russians a while ago by Crimea. So they know exactly the Russians are not kidding. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.